Hi, this is Dr. Donna, and today I want to talk about an issue when you go through a spiritual awakening where it breaks up a lot of relationships with friends, family members, and even romantic partner. Because remember, you're going through a spiritual awakening, not the other people in your life, right? They may not be going through anything, and you want them to understand what you're going through, but they really can't because this is your journey. And I remember this personally as I was going through my different spiritual awakenings. I found myself with different friends, less friends, alone, not wanting to date the same person. Everything's different. Then the family drama did come up for me. So first I'm going to start with what to expect with your friendships. All of a sudden, the people that you have known, no matter how long you've known them, it could be years, all of a sudden you don't have the same interest anymore to maintain the friendship. You're more about what's new for you in this spiritual awakening, what you're learning, what's important, what matters. You don't want to do small talk. You don't want to just go out and socialize and go party and travel here and there. All of a sudden you want to do different things and deeper things. And so all of a sudden the friendship isn't working and your friends are looking at you like, what happened to you? You've changed. And sometimes you can even come across as acting more superior when that isn't the intent. When you go through a spiritual awakening, it just happens, right? Where you're thinking about different topics, different interests. You want to work on self-growth and healing, and they're looking at you like, where's all this coming from? And so all of a sudden you're not in alignment with your friends. And a lot of your friends will drop off. You won't get invited to things anymore because you're no longer fun or interesting. You're different. I remember that happening. And all of a sudden, you're like, well, I don't even think I'm upset if I'm not invited. And so you're going in one direction and a lot of your friends are going in another. Some friends will stick around through it, but remember, it's your journey, not theirs. And they're going to be like, hey, this is you. That's fine. I still like you. I stay around and be your friend, but it's going to be a different relationship. And remember, you can talk about what you're going through, but you can't force what you're going through onto anybody because they have a right to their own journey. And some people just don't have interest in this stuff, even if their life is calling them to make a change. Remember, a spiritual awakening just isn't about spirituality. It's about a life-altering event to make you more consciousness about your life, to make different decisions, to make your life better, to level up, to evolve, to grow. It's for many reasons. It's not just so that you can become a spiritual woo-woo person, although sometimes that happens, but it may not happen at all. Maybe you're not into spirituality, although we call it a spiritual awakening. So you can discuss it with people in your life, but don't expect them to be on board or think, oh, okay, I get it, or I'm interested in this too. You can't push it on to anybody. It's your journey. And I recommend doing a lot of journaling and talking to a healthcare professional, a therapist, a coach, or someone to help you through it, because it's a lot. And you don't want to expect this out of your friends to be able to understand, because they're not going to. And now let's talk about family. Because what happens when you have a spiritual awakening, all the family drama that you buried, the family buried, so everybody could get along, is starting to come up, and you start remembering things. And you're like, this wasn't right. And then your sibling remembers something, and your parent remembers something different, and you're wanting to confront all the family trauma or things that were buried because it's come to the surface in you. And your family's looking at you like you're not maintaining what we have maintained all this time. You're trying to change the normalcy. You're trying to bring up stuff that we've let go of or we've buried that we don't want to discuss because it will interfere with us looking like a happy family. We won't be able to spend holidays together. We will have disagreements. We'll have fights. So when this happens, when you go through a spiritual awakening, and all of a sudden you feel this need in your family to bring up stuff, don't be surprised. You will become the black sheep. You will become the ouster. You will be the one starting trouble. You'll be the one that's shaking up the foundation. Be ready for that. Do you want to do that? And you might even find yourself not wanting to be around your family, and they're going to find themselves not wanting to be around you. They're not going to just jump on board and go, hey, let's talk about our problems. No, because a lot of families don't. They just don't. My family didn't, and really won't still to this day. And there's some family members I can talk to and some I just can't. And it's just how it is. Remember, you're changing. It doesn't mean that the people around you are changing, but they're going to look at you like you changed so much. Who are you? And especially when you bring up family stuff, you're going to come across like arrogant, or who do you think you are? And why do you think you have the right to change the dynamic? It can get very ugly. And so as you're facing family stuff, you're going to find yourself probably alone in it, probably sad in it, because it's a lot and it's bringing up stuff that even you buried to survive, to get through. And there was nobody else bringing it up, so it just stayed buried. It stayed buried within you and within the family. So now let's talk about romantic partners. It's already hard to maintain a romantic relationship. You got to choose each other every day. You got to communicate. It's not just about love. Love does not carry relationships the way that people think it should. It's all the other things. It's integrity, the character. It's showing up. It's being honest. It's communicating. It's choosing each other. So here you are. You're in a relationship. You're having a spiritual awakening and your partner is not. Oh my goodness, where do you go from here? And this happens a lot. I get these calls sometimes. They're just like, my partner's not growing. They're not getting it. I'm having all these things happening to me. They're looking at me like something's wrong with me, but something's wrong with them because they're not growing. And you know what it is? You are doing this. You are going through your own experience. You have a right to your spiritual awakening and your experience, but your partner also have a right to not have it pushed upon them. Maybe they don't want to go through it. Maybe it's not their time. Maybe it's not, just not the right time. Their spirit guides, their angels, God, whoever they believe in isn't saying not yet. Maybe it's a lot. Maybe it's going to bring up a lot of triggers that they want to suppress. So there's many things going on for your partner. So do not expect them to just be like, okay, you're going through this, I go through it with you, and we stay in alignment. And the reason why you may be wanting your partner to do this is because you don't want to lose them. You don't want them to separate from you or look at you as being weird. You want to stay close to them and aligned. And this awakening is growing you in different ways and stretching you in different ways. And you want them to do it with you so you guys stay together. Now, some couples still stay together with all this going on. But I think the key to making it is for the person having the awakening, you got to accept that this is your stuff. And you can't force it onto your partner. You have to respect where they're at, meet them where they're at, and decide if you can still love them as you've been loving them all this time with everything going on. Now, if your partner, it's one thing if they don't want to go through awakening, but as long as they're not putting you down, holding you back, trying to stop you, or, they're not any type of support for you, then you got a problem. But remember, your partner who isn't going through it, maybe they're just not interested in this stuff, in, healing on this level. That's why I always tell people when you first get with someone, play 1,000 questions, ask a lot of things, go to counseling together, see what your values are from the jump. But people don't do that. They fall in love and they figure it out later. So keep this in mind. This can be a time when people break up or get divorced. And sometimes there's problems before, and sometimes all of a sudden it's like, oh, this relationship no longer works for me. So there is a chance of that. So if you're going through awakening, your partner isn't, you're going to have to really sit and ask yourself, do you want to save this relationship, and are you willing to do what it takes to save it? And will your partner meet you halfway? Because a lot of times people get so frustrated when their partner doesn't support them on this journey and don't want to go through it with them. And, there's all this need to bring people along. A lot of times, I remember this in a spiritual community. A lot of times people are like, well, I'm spiritual and I've grown and evolved and I want this for everyone around me. And they start pushing on people. And it's like, no, you're going up against their boundary. If they want this, they come to you. You can't force this on them, no matter how it feels, no matter how badly you want to force it on them. You cannot. And that's going to be the hardest part about awakening. And that's why you're going to feel lonely. There's going to be a loneliness time. There's going to be a frustration. You might be sitting right next to your partner or in the room with your family or friends and still feel lonely because of what you're experiencing. And so be ready for that. Going through a spiritual awakening is a wild, crazy ride. It's not a euphoric, aha, confetti moment where everything makes sense and everything aligns and you understand the meaning of life and life gets easier. Sometimes it gets rougher. And then it can get better. Now, I think we have more than one spiritual awakening. I've had 4 so far. I'm 55. And so, I think we have several for different reasons. And so basically, remember, this is about you. It's not about the people around you. It's going to affect them, right? If you stay in their life, not stay in their life, they're going to have to accept you somewhat. But it is about you, and you can't force this on anybody else. So I just wanted to share this with you. I also did a podcast to go into more detail about this topic. I am really all about talking about spiritual awakenings because it's where a lot of things start. Even after grief, you're having a spiritual awakening after a big loss. Whether that grief is a death of someone you love, a divorce, a betrayal, a loss of a job. And so everything ties in for me. So I will be talking about spiritual awakenings a lot and other spiritual stuff and psychic stuff and grief related issues on my TikTok, my other social media sites, and you can find me on YouTube, also Facebook, Instagram, and I will be sharing on all those platforms. I think it's a very important topic, one that people don't really talk about, or they go through alone and they don't have support systems. And so I'm trying to create that support system and say you're not alone. So thank you for watching and have a good day.